Trump's corrupt DOJ and its leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, are already facing a huge mutiny from their rank and file prosecutors, from an acting United States attorney in the Southern District of New York, from other assistant United States attorneys in the Southern District of New York, resignation after resignation, and these letters calling out the corruption, unethical behavior, and criminality of the Trump administration and the Trump DOJ by right-wing people also who work for the Department of Justice. Let me just remind people, the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, these are people who previously served as Donald Trump's personal lawyers in various ways. So let me just remind you of Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, so we all know who we're dealing with. Let's play this clip because she represented Trump at the impeachment hearing of Trump during the first administration. Let's play it.
He remained on the board until April of 2019. We also know that
Yikes, that's the Attorney General Pam Bondi right there. That was back during the first impeachment hearing. Harry Littman, you were a top official at the Department of Justice. You were also a United States attorney in the Western District of Pennsylvania. You got a lot of connections to the Department of Justice. Nay, I say that you may have the most connections of maybe any person currently living to the Department of Justice at the highest level. What's going on? What are you hearing behind the scenes? Do we expect more resignations to follow? Is this a full-blown mutiny?
Yes, I don't know if there'll be more resignations, Ben, because they got their order actually filed. They put everybody from the public integrity section in a room as if they were teenagers, somebody who's stolen a pack of lifesavers, and said no one's coming out until somebody agrees to file this motion. It's a cataclysm. I was at the department not long before the change over in administration, and everybody in the department, the very, very, very strong culture is pride in the career professionals who do their job based on facts and law. So you have not just who you mentioned at the Southern District of New York, and we're talking about a Antonin Scalia clerk and separately a John Roberts clerk, Bronze Medal Award winner, impeccable. But then Bove pulls it into Main Justice, where he thinks that the Department of Public Integrity, the really crown jewel of the DOJ, and the head of the criminal division, even above them, all of them resign, and it's the public integrity folks who are corralled into a room and made somebody to file a motion to dismiss. Otherwise, everybody was going to get fired. It's unbelievable, brutal treatment. And at the bottom, as you say, it's all this lie. You have Bondi saying, what, and even writing back to the people who've resigned, well, you're being pretextual, you're just weaponizing the department. It's a complete Alice in Wonderland discourse. They have the facts and the law behind the Adams prosecution, and stunningly, the Deputy Attorney General in the first letter starting this whole crisis said, well, I haven't really looked at the facts, and I know there's no problem with the legal theories, and then tried to come up with other stuff. But when you say, begin there and order everyone to file a motion to dismiss, as Sassoon said, I can't do that. It's a violation of my oath. It's a violation of my duty of candor to the court. And within the department, I guarantee you, all 94 U.S. attorneys' offices, people are in absolute stupefaction today, seeing how the new leadership has totally insulted and brutalized the attorneys who they've made to file this clearly political motion. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to the career rank and file in the history of the Department of Justice, with no doubt. And the resignations would have continued, except that one person who's being played as a hero within public integrity, which again, it's like the Navy SEALs of DOJ stepped up and said, rather than have everybody lose their job, okay, I'll file this motion. Of course, that means he has to go in front of a court and be questioned about why he did it and what was the basis for it. That is going to be a very ugly day. As one of the people who resigned said, I'm neither coward nor fool enough to do it, and I never was. I'm sure you'll find somebody, but it was never going to be me.
Harry, is the person who filed it, though, I don't know the backstory here.
Yeah.
Is that person the fool, a corrupt person, or someone who's taking one for the team so that other people can remain in the Department of Justice who are still competent lawyers? And so which one is it? Do you know?
Yeah, I do know. It's the second. So he's playing as a hero, and his people came out and said, this guy's name is Ed Sullivan, by the way. And he's he really takes one for the team. Imagine this. Career professionals being stuck in a room. We'll give you an hour. If you don't come out, we're firing all of you. That's a stunning treatment of professionals in the Department of Justice. And yes, after a lot of talk about should we all resign, one stepped up and said, okay, I'll save everybody's job. And again, this most vaunted, respected, completely by the book set of prosecutors in the entire country. This is tawdry and savage in the extreme. And he is playing as the guy who saved everyone else's job, at least within their ranks. He's playing as a hero.
I mean, just think about that too, Harry. So when you say the public integrity section, so everybody just knows what that means. So this case was under the jurisdiction of the Southern District of New York federal prosecutors, who have a proud tradition. For those who, watch a lot of those TV shows on federal prosecutorial offices, I remember even the show like Billions and others, they're usually based around SDNY and they view themselves as the top federal prosecutors from the top law schools. And so they, in the acting United States attorney who has conservative credentials, federalist credentials through the roof, clerked for Justice Scalia, clerked for I think a Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Harvey Wilkinson, Mr. Conservative.
Mr. Conservative, the conservative team. And then even that you had the assistant United States attorney who clerked for Justice John Roberts, who was reporting to that United States attorney. So you had all of them, and they were like, "This, you're asking us to do something illegal. We can't do it." In the words of the assistant U.S. attorney, Hagan Scotton, Hagan goes, "If no lawyer within the earshot of the president is willing to give him the advice that what he's asking is illegal, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion to dismiss the case against Eric Adams when there's all this evidence of crimes, but it's never going to be me." I added some things in there, but that's the context of what he was saying. So then they ripped the case away from SDNY, and of all of the divisions, they then moved it to public integrity, which is supposed to protect public integrity and oversee prosecutions like those against people who are not integrity, like Eric Adams. So they move it over to public integrity. Then public integrity leaders go, "We're not filing this." Resignation there. And then they bring all these people in DC in a room. Trump's personal lawyer, who's now the deputy attorney general, Emil Bove, says, "You're all going to lose your jobs right now unless this gets filed." And then the question was, why you're saying this person's viewed as a hero is, well, what happens if everybody either gets fired or resigned, and now you have nobody inside who can still even resist from within? Do you even have a Department of Justice anymore? Yeah. So, Harry, I'll give you the final word, but was that description and summary in layman's terms kind of a fair assessment?
Yeah, it totally was. And one other extra point is even the head assistant attorney general acting above public integrity resigned rather than do this. It's so clear, the setting here, someone's lying and someone's telling the truth. Someone's on the side of the rule of law and someone's on the side of brute politics. And you read these letters, these intemperate letters, there's just no doubt. People with great credibility put it on the line and sacrifice their careers. We're talking about people who are, we're going to be judges and the like with a bullet, and the real pride and joy of the DOJ. And to the extent the public doesn't understand it or does a sort of whataboutism, anybody, I mean anybody of any political stripe who's ever been in the Department of Justice, and I'm here to tell you what they would all say. These guys are absolutely honorable, hardworking, the heart and soul of the Department of Justice. And not only were they threatened with being fired, but Pam Bondi, after, basically insulted them in savage terms, saying, you're lying and this is all pretextual. This is as tawdry and savage as, this is Stalinist kind of stuff. And everybody in the department knows it. And it's not over, Ben, because it's still got to go in front of a court who's going to want to know what happened here, as that lawyer says. So, it's possible with the shock and awe of outrages of Trump and his overall strategy, this a little bit gets put under the rug or people don't register it. I am here to tell you, though, this is so clearly good versus evil, corruption versus doing your job, and the attempt to try to change the discourse just with anyone who knows anything won't hunt. It's a really, really sober, nasty, savage day in the Department of Justice's annals.
And like I said, I'll give you the final word, but I'll take it. I'll say this one. I'll say this one other thing. If there's a glimmer of hope here, one, that there is this resistance within taking place, even amongst conservative lawyers. But even if you view their behavior as selfish, right, just looking after their own self-interest, that means these younger lawyers envision the world in a post-Trump era where doing illegal conduct for Trump will destroy their careers in the future. They, even right-wing lawyers, still think that if I'm associated with this error, I'm going to be viewed with that scarlet letter forever. So even if you take the selfish, self-interested perspective of these people with high career arcs, it gives you hope even viewing it through that lens. So we could do a whole other take on that, but not now. Harry Litman, make sure you subscribe. Harry's like, let's do it. Subscribe to Harry Litman's YouTube channel, Talking Feds, because we're dorks and we like to talk about stuff like that. And Harry on Talking Feds YouTube channel does an incredible job. There's the Talking Feds Substack, which
has a whole entry about just this today.
That's great. Talking Feds Substack, Talking Feds Podcast. Please subscribe to all of them. You will thank me for it because that's where I get my legal news. Harry, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.